everybody, Sandy here from Scrapbooks Blessings Club, and I have my Besties YouTube project. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for the My Bestie YouTube team, I decided to do this card here. It's a very simple card to do. What I did is I focused on the background to highlight my besties, show off my besties. So let me grab the stamp. This is the stamp I use. This is Penelope. And she comes with this saying. Now the saying on the package is different font from what the stamp is. See the stamp? I'll pull up so you can see. Is this really cute curly Q font. And I'll flip her over and see she is quite larger than what the picture is too. So she made a perfect My Besties image for this card. So let's get started. Okay, now as you can see, I have her on some grass with the clouds behind her. Now how I did this technique is a watercolor technique. So I'm going to put her up here in the corner and pull this so you can see, kind of protect my mat. Now what I used is, of course, you need your paintbrush. And I used Prismacolor Watercolor Pencils. So I use pencils to achieve that background. Of course, you'll need some water. Put that there. And what I used was the stamp here from EK Success. It's just a circle, 2-inch circle scallop stamp. Nothing fancy. And taking a piece of scrap paper, I'm going to go ahead and use this as my masking for my clouds. Now, if you don't have a stamp, no problem. All you have to do is just take a pair of scissors and you take your paper and you can go ahead and just, you know, draw out, you know, some puffy clouds. Not draw out, cut out some puffy clouds, like make a little stencil. Okay, so first off, what I did is I went ahead and I stamped her down first and I colored her, and then I built the scene around her. Okay, and how I did that, I'll show you with the grass first, is I took a dark green, a lighter green, and a yellow. And my pencils here, actually there was sunburst yellow, grass green, and dark green. And all I did was scribble. So starting with my grass green, I just went ahead and did some scribbles just like this. And of course she's sitting here, so I made sure I did them underneath her. What I'm using is I'm using Stratmore cold press 140-pound paper. So it's not smooth, but it works. Great for what I need. Okay, so I just threw some scribbles down, and then I grabbed my brush and my water, and then I just started to wet the paper and move the color around. Now what I liked about this is the fact that the scribbles looked like little blades of grass. So I thought that was kind of cool. So just like that across the bottom. Nothing fancy needed. And like I've said with my other watercolor video, watercolor, when you first put it down and get the water moving, tends to look like a hot mess. But as it dries, you get some really cool effects. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have my yellow here. What I'm going to do, instead of, let me wipe off my brush. Instead of putting the pencil on the paper, what I'm going to do is take my wet brush and I'm going to come here and I'm going to get some of the pencil right onto the brush. So a little different of a technique. And then what I'm going to do is, after I have the yellow on there, I'm just going to go ahead and spot down some yellow. See how I did that? Because I didn't want it too bold. I just wanted to put some yellow in there. Then what's nice is you can kind of go back here, and if you decide you want to do some more green, like this is the dark green, so I'm just going to pick it up right on the tip and then just go ahead and lay down some of the dark green in here and then leave it alone. Walk away, leave it alone, don't mess with it, let it dry. And I promise you, if you let it dry, you're gonna love the way it turns out. So I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun real quick so we can go on to the sky. Now my grass is done and it looks great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the sky. So I'm gonna take my little, just piece of cardstock, nothing too fancy. If it gets too wet, I can just do another one. And I'm gonna grab my blue. Now the blue I'm using is Non-Photo Blue, WC2919. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and what I like to do is I like to start at the top and then work my way down. So and I'm talking very lightly, because if you do this too dark, you're going to get a whole bunch of lines, because I don't want the same lines that I got down here in my sky. So very lightly, you can kind of see that. I can just kind of go around the scallop, nothing too drastic, fancy. If I pull it away, let me pull it away so you can see. See? Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going really light, because I can always go back and we'll do some over here. I can always go back and add more, like I did with the yellow. And I'll put some a little over here. Okay, so let me show you, pull up so you can kind of see how those clouds are starting to form. And I just did, like I said, I just did this around my image. And then kind of come over here. And a little bit down here. Okay, and then I left right behind her. Let me show you. I'll pull this over so you can see. I left some really white, couple very light white. So after you go ahead and you use your little stencil to lay down your color, what you're going to do is go ahead and put your water on it. So get to my brush, making sure I got the green off. I'm going to dip it in. And I tend to go a little, not as wet at first, just to kind of break up the lines so I don't have those sharp pencil lines. I can zoom in. There we go, so you can see a little bit better. So I'm going to come down here, like you can see, I'm just kind of breaking up those lines, pushing it up into the next cloud. Do the same over here, over here. So what's nice, like I said, is if it's too light for you, then you can just go ahead, you're going to wet your brush, and then you're going to wet the tip of your pencil. See? And you're going to get that onto your brush. I pull back a little bit here so you can kind of see where the background is. As far as this is now drying and it's blended really nice, and now this is, you kind of see where the water is. You kind of move it around a little if you want. You can do as much as you want, as little as you want. But this is a lot of fun, and no two are ever the same. Let me pull in my other one here. As you can see, this one that I did on the card, I just did a little bit darker. And of course I had the image to go around, so that made it a little easier. But that's the basic technique of how I did that. I just used the watercolor pencils with water, and I cut out just a scallop circle to use. And then I just did my squiggly lines on the bottom. So I hope you like this video. Let me get the water out of the way. I hope you like this video. Like I said, this is just a very quick technique video on how to use watercolors to make a little grass and cloud scene behind your image. Okay, so that is it for me. Until next time, please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.